recording through your leaders. Okay. So she discussed with you homeostasis. The concept of homeostasis is to maintain the internal environment of the body. Now, what is internal environment of the body? How it is maintained? This she discussed with you. All the body systems, they join together to maintain the internal environment, that is this extracellular fluid. So extracellular fluid is where, for example, this is stomach cell and this is your brain cell, but all of them, they are living in this sea of the extracellular fluid. So everything in the extracellular fluid, which is defined as, for example, oxygen, carbon dioxide, waste products, water, salts, pH, temperature, volume, pressure, and many other things, they are maintained by the process which is called homeostasis. Homeostasis is controlled by two feedback mechanisms mainly. 99% good processes, they are controlled by negative feedback. Some good processes, they are controlled by positive feedback, but generally positive feedback is called to be dangerous. How will you prepare this for MCQ? Just by, you see, don't miss any diagram. The things in the diagrams, they are also important for MCQ. I'll give you an example. Now, this is a diagram which is just telling you that homeostasis is essential for survival of the cells. So this can make an MCQ. So prepare the diagrams as well for your MCQs. So negative feedback is 99% of our body processes. I'll give you an example quickly. For example, now you have not taken your breakfast, your blood sugar is less. So now you will be feeling hungry. So you will eat something and your blood sugar will increase. So now the blood sugar was less. When you ate something, the blood sugar increased. So the processes, they are opposite to the initial change. This is negative feedback. Positive feedback is this, that where both the initial change and the response, they are going in the same direction. So this concept she gave to you, and she gave you a very good example of positive feedback, that is the birth of the baby. And here the head of the baby, it pushes in the birth canal, which causes secretion of more oxytocin, and oxytocin causes more contraction, and the baby keeps on moving out. This is an example of positive feedback mechanism. So from here, we are now moving to our next lecture, that is the body fluids and plasma membrane. All right, what do we have? Sultan, Muhammad Saeed, do not write your ID numbers in chat. See, your friends, they have changed their names. With their name, they have written the ID number. So please write there, okay? Jazakallah khair. Thank you. If there are any questions, keep on putting in the chat box, or you are free to raise your hand and stop me. I have enough time, inshallah. I will finish within time and we will go slow. Slides are different from the slides that you have got. I will give even these slides to the boys, and the girls, they can take from the boys later on. There is no problem. Same material, but I have changed a little bit according to my need. So my dear, what is this diagram telling you? What is this diagram telling you?
The percentage of a fluid in a human body.
Agreed. But what is it telling you?
Different in percentage.
Yes. What is the difference? What did you make up, my dear?
It decreases with aging.
Wonderful. First point is this, that it decreases with the aging. As we age, the water percentage in our body, it decreases. Number two, Yusuf, you have raised your hand. Yes, please.
If we became older, the percentage of the fluid became less.
Yes, agreed. What else? So we say that the babies, they have got maximum water in their body. Percentage, see? Not this that I have got 10 liter and the baby has got 12 liter. No, this means percentage of total body weight is more in the babies. Okay? and percentage of, if you are 18 years old and a girl is 18 years old, who will have more water in the body?
Male.
Male. Yes, Layal, you raised your hand.
I was about to say that about the diagram thing, but yani,
Okay,
you
but
said.
you say it again so that it is reveal.
Okay, I was about to say that males usually have more percentage than females in every body fluid, not only water, like even in the blood volume.
I liked, one point in your answer, which is new. Layal said that males usually have more water in their body. Do you know why? Which male of 18 years old will have less water as compared to a girl who is 18 years old? A plus question, bonus question.
The ones who have like XY chromosomes. know.
It is a big flight of thought, but I'll make it simple. The amount of the fat, the females generally, they have more fat in the body. So if we have got an 18 years old male who is very obese, very fat, and we have got an 18 years old girl who is not fat at all, very skinny, so then it is possible that the male has less water as compared to the female. So it is the amount of the fat that actually determines it. All right, we go further very slowly. Same diagram, but now it is the slide that you have already got, the same material written. For an adult male, the total body water is about 60% of the body weight. That is a volume of about 42 liters in a 70 kilogram male. The body water in an infant is 75 to 80% of body weight, in an adult 60% of body weight, and in an elderly 50% of body weight. The percent of body water decreases progressively with age. So we discussed it on the first slide, but I revised it on this slide so that you could prepare it for your quiz or exam or whatever it is. My dears, we come to very important concept now. We have 3 words to learn here. The first word is ICF, intracellular. Intra means within, within the cell. So this is the fluid which is in the cell. This is the fluid which is inside the cells. Remember, the body is made up of the cells. There are millions, trillions of the cells. So these cells, all of them, they have got fluid inside them. That is why this is more. Then every fluid which is outside of the cell, that is called extracellular fluid. Any fluid which is outside of the cell, that is called extracellular fluid. What is the abbreviation? ECF, extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid. My dears, extracellular fluid is divided into 2 big portions. One, which is the bigger one, it is called interstitial fluid. Look at my hand, please. This is blood vessel, this is cell, and this is in between the tissues. So this is called interstitial fluid, interstitial fluid. And this is blood. What do we have in blood? We have red blood cells. What do we have in blood? We have white blood cells. We have platelets. We have proteins. But still, about 60% of the water, 60% of the blood is water, So this water is called plasma. So pick up this word, plasma. So how many words we learned on this slide? Come on, revise with me, please. The first word, what is intracellular fluid? Please tell. Open your mic or in the chat.
Fluid inside.
ICF.
Yes.
The fluid in the in the cells.
In the cells, full stop. Saleh, what is ECF? Unmute yourself, your mic, we cannot hear you.
The outer one, the extracellular.
Yes, yes. So the fluid outside the cell is called extracellular fluid. Yusuf, you tell me that what are the 2 main components of extracellular fluid?
Plasma in the blood and interstitial fluid.
Wonderful. Which one is more?
Interstitial fluid.
Interstitial fluid. Yes. Roll number 224, 0001922. What do you want to say? Please unmute yourself and add your.
I want to answer.
Yes, please. Okay, so answer this, that if we consider, now we are repeating the same thing. If we consider all the body water, where the body water is maximum, which compartment?
The body water maximum. In the extracellular fluid.
No, this we have to make the concept clear. So all of you, are you listening, all of you? So please remember, I told you the cells are more in the body. So the cells, they are full of water. So total body water, if we consider total body water, maximum amount is intracellular fluid. Okay. So we will say on the next slide, I will tell you just about 33% is extracellular fluid. About 66% is intracellular fluid. We go further. So extracellular fluid, it serves as an intermediary between the cell and external environment. I go back. Sorry, this is my bad habit. I will be going back to the slide again and again. My dears, this is blood. I eat food and digest food and absorb from intestine, and it goes into my blood. What is blood? Blood is made up of plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is extracellular fluid. Try to understand this. I have got kidneys. Kidneys get blood. Blood is filtered. What is blood? Blood is plasma. What is filtered? Plasma is filtered. Extra water goes out of the body. My dear, intracellular fluid does not connect to the kidney. Intracellular fluid does not connect to the intestine. Intracellular fluid does not connect to the sweat glands. It is all extracellular fluid which is connected to, the word is external environment. So we say extracellular fluids serve as intermediary between the cells and external environment. All exchange of water and other constituent between the intracellular fluid and the external world occur through the ECF. Intracellular fluid inside the stomach, for example, it needs hydrogen to make HCl. It cannot get it directly from outside. It gets it from the blood. What is blood? Blood is plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is extracellular fluid. I go back to this diagram. This is my thyroid cell. Sorry, this is my thyroid cell. Does anyone of you remember what mineral is there in the thyroid? Madan? What mineral is there in the thyroid which we use for thyroid hormone? Anyone?
Na, sodium.
No, it is iodine. Iodine. So I need iodine in my thyroid gland to make thyroid hormone. I cannot get it from outside. So I will eat food which has got iodine. This goes into the blood. From blood, it is coming into ISF, and then it goes into my thyroid cell. This is the point. Yani, extracellular fluid, it is interacting with the external environment, and we cannot get anything to the internal intercellular fluid without first passing through the extracellular fluid. And now here I'm, revising what I told you there with the help of this diagram. Total body water, about 60%. 33% is extracellular fluid. This is divided into interstitial fluid and blood, that is plasma. Now, for the first time, we are reading another thing. Where is interstitial fluid? It is fluid between the cells, not inside the cell, between the cells. It is fluid in the lymph. It is fluid in the gastrointestinal tract secretion. It is fluid that fills our spinal cord and the brain, which we call cerebrospinal fluid. It is fluid in our eyes. It is fluid which makes our tears. It is fluid in our joints. It is fluid around our heart. It is fluid around our lungs. So this is all called interstitial fluid. And the 8% is in the plasma. I go back. Out of my body weight, now listen carefully so that you don't confuse here. This is my body. This is my body weight. How much percent is water? 60%. But if I am young person, now you can see my face in the video. I am old person. I am 60 years of age. Do you think I will have same amount of water as you? No, I have less water in my body. Anyway, so out of this 60%, now you consider this 60% as 100. That is why I say do not confuse. Do not say that 66 plus 33, this will make 99. So this 60, you consider 100. 66% is inside the cell. That is, it is called intracellular fluid. 33% is extracellular fluid. This tafsil is written over here, the same which I have discussed with you just now. So my dears, last slide about this very point. This is the slide heading is interaction of different body fluid compartments. This is extracellular fluid in the blood. This is intracellular fluid inside the cell. This is intracellular fluid. This is plasma. So I get something from, like, for example, water. It passes through the interstitial fluid and reaches the cell. The cell produces some secretion. It puts it into interstitial fluid, and then it comes into the blood. I'll again give the example of, for example, insulin. Insulin secreted by the pancreas comes into the interstitial fluid of the pancreas, comes into the blood, and in the blood, it decreases blood sugar. Sodium, I eat salt. Sodium is in my blood. It is shifted to interstitial fluid. If there is active transport, then it can be transported inside the cell. Otherwise, it stays here. Why? We will discuss it, inshallah, in a little while. So this is called interaction of different body compartments. Now, what is plasma membrane made up of? Cell membrane. Cell membrane. We call it plasma membrane. Yes, please. Chat, mic. What is plasma membrane made up of? Yusuf. Yes.
Phospholipid, which
Phospholipids.
has a head and two tails of lipids.
Very good. Proud of you. But this is written here in the title. Please add. Someone adds. What is plasma membrane made up of? Just phospholipids, or we have other things as well? Even if you say something wrong, there is no problem. Layal, what did you get? Yes, please.
What did he call my name? Okay, cholesterols.
Okay, cholesterol, which is another form of lipid. Saleh actually wrote the thing which I was looking for. He wrote proteins. He wrote proteins. My dears, we have got all the things in the cell membrane. We all know about phospholipids. And as Yusuf said, that they have got a tail and a head, two tails and a head. But we have got proteins which are very important. Why do we want to discuss proteins? I will tell you in a little while. Sultan, nutrients and sodium, they pass through the cell membrane. This is what we are going to discuss later on. Please use chat. Please use mic. No problem. Whenever I like, I can mute you. But I love when you are interacting. But we say mainly that the cell membrane, it is made up of lipid bilayer, lipid bilayer, lipid bilayer. So we say phospholipids are in the form of bilayer. Polar heads face out. The polar heads face out, and non-polar tails, they face in. MCQ. Polar heads face out. Non-polar tails, they face in. Now, this is water. And this is water. This is, for example, the interstitial fluid, because this is cell membrane. And this is inside the cell. That is, this is intracellular fluid. This is extracellular fluid. This is what we are discussing. How this will actually allow the transport across cell membrane. So we go to the next point, which Saleh told us. We have got proteins in the cell membrane. There are two types, basically. One is called channel protein. They are like the doors. You know, I give you an example. Just now, all of you, you have come back from vacation and you used some airport. Now, there are some doors on the airport. You just pass through the door. You just pass through the door. Does every door allow you to pass? For example, you came from London and you landed in Riyadh. Can you pass through all the doors of the airport terminal?
No.
Full stop. No. Because they have got separate doors for the people who want to sit in the plane. They want you to go to immigration for your passport checkup. You understand? So this type of things, they are called channels. So they put you in channel. Okay, next. Now I am old. I do not want to walk. So they have provided some small golf carts for me. Have you seen those carts on the airports where old people and the people who have got problems, or the people with the kids, or obese people, or the diseased people, they sit in the cart and they don't walk, for example, half kilometer on Dubai air terminal. So have you seen those carts? So they are also taking these people to the same place for passport checkup, but this is carrier. This is carrier. So we have got channel proteins, which are just the doors, which allow some substances to pass and some substances not to pass. Try to understand this point. And we have got carrier proteins, which bind to a substance and carry it across the membrane. Remember my example, some substances, they are carried by the channel proteins. That is, they are simply moved by this. Again, A+ question at this stage. At the end, everyone will know it, inshallah. Which substances, can you make some rule? Which substances can easily pass through a membrane? Or if I am considering channel protein, what substances can easily pass through the channel protein? Difficult question? Let me make it easy. Yes. 7499. You raised your hand. Basma. Yes.
Sodium and calcium.
Why? Your answer is correct, but why? Layal.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Your answer is also correct, but my question is something else.
Explain your question, please.
Yes. Now I'll give you the hint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Now give me the answer. What is the basic requirement for a substance to go in?
Lipid.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. Come on. Yes, Saleh. Yes, yes.
Something in the
1, 2, 3,
diffusion
4, 5.
or in the polar number, like.
So see, very simple answer. Concentration. It will go from the high concentration to the low concentration.
Low concentration.
Low
If I tell you that sodium is more inside and it is less outside, can sodium come in? No, it cannot come in. Number 2, do you have the key to open the channel? You see, there is your room in your home, and your brother's room in your home, and your sister's room in your home. You don't want your brother and sister to come into your room and disturb your things. You lock your room. They don't have the key to your room. Can they come into your room? No, they cannot come into your room. So the structure of the substance, it might not fill this channel. For example, this channel is round and this substance is triangle, muthallats. So it might not be able to pass through this. Or it is square, murabba. It might not be able to pass through this daira, circle. You understand? So channel proteins. Now I said, when Layal told oxygen, I said, you are right. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, and many substances that are lipid soluble, they can pass through freely. Lipid insoluble substances cannot pass. Lipid insoluble substances cannot pass. They need channel protein. All right. I repeat once again. I go back to this slide. Lipid soluble substances, for example, alcohol, for example, anesthetic, takhdir, they can pass through the lipid bilayer because they are lipid soluble. But the water soluble substances, they cannot pass. They need channel protein. Listen. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1. How to bring this in? To bring against the concentration gradient is very easy. Sorry, very difficult. But to put the substance along the concentration gradient is very easy. I repeat. If concentration is more here, less here, it will simply come in. This is called diffusion. Come on. If concentration is more here, less here, it can simply pass. This is called diffusion. But if concentration is more here, less here, if I want to push this out, how to do it? If concentration is more outside.
Can I answer?
Yes, Yusuf.
By active transport?
By active transport, that is, you need energy. Energy is ATP. ATP is what we eat. ATP is I eat a burger, and from the burger, I convert it into ATP. This ATP is stored for my exercise. When I need active transport, this ATP is used. This ATP is used. So we use this ATP for the transport. So my dears, we go to the next slide where we define this thing. That is, active process require ATP. Passive process do not require the cell to use energy. Cell membrane has a unique design. It is responsible for selectively alloying substances. Yani your brother cannot enter your room. Your sister cannot enter your room because they do not have the key for your room. So this is called selective permeability, which can be active or it can be passive. I will describe these 2 points in the next slides, inshallah. And you can have your questions ready whenever you like, because now my speed will be a little more because I explained a lot on this slide. All right. So molecules move across the plasma membrane by passive transport and by active transport. What are the 3 types of passive transport? I repeat once again. What is diffusion or passive transport? Where we do not need energy. Where is the energy coming from? It is by the movement of the particles. What is that called? Kinetic energy. Does it need ATP? No, it does not need ATP. How it works? It works from high concentration to low concentration. All right. So we start once again. So our passive transport, it is the thing which does not need energy. And it is 3 types: diffusion or simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion. Remember when I told you that I am old and I was going for passport check in the airport, but I sat on the golf cart, the small car in the airport, the cart. So I got the carrier. So yani someone helped me. Someone made help for me. Help, second word in English, facilitation. Someone facilitated me. Ta'awun. And the third is osmosis, which is the diffusion of water from the place where there is more water to the place where there is less water. So my dears, our passive transport is of 3 types. Let's start once again. Passive transport does not need ATP energy. Let's start once again. We have active transport and we have got passive transport. Let's start once again. Sorry for that. Active transport needs ATP. Passive transport does not need ATP. So we come here and now we'll pick up these points one by one: diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis, and then active transport. So diffusion, molecules can move directly through the phospholipids of the plasma membrane from high concentration to the low concentration. This is called diffusion, or some books will write simple diffusion. So diffusion is the net movement of molecules from a high concentration to a low concentration. How long can it continue? It can continue till the molecules are equal on both the sides. When they are equal on both the sides, the diffusion stops. So diffusion is related to temperature, pressure, state of matter, size of concentration gradient, and surface area of the membrane. If the membrane is big, more diffusion will be there. If temperature is more diffusion will be there. If pressure is more on one side, where there is less concentration, less diffusion will be there. If pressure is more on the side where there is more concentration, there will be faster diffusion. So the short answer question or the extended matching question, what things are required for the diffusion? What things can affect the simple diffusion? So number one is concentration. Number two is temperature. Number three is pressure. Number four is state of matter. State of matter means liquid, gas, or solid. Size of concentration gradient. This means small particles, big particles, and surface area of the membrane. All right. What molecules can pass the plasma membrane through simple diffusion? So we have a lot of things like gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide. We have got water molecules. We have got lipids. We have got lipid-soluble molecules like alcohols and some of the vitamins. The second, we have got facilitated diffusion. Sorry for going back again and again. My dears, I told you I am taking up these 3 points one by one. Diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. And then we will take the active transport. Now I will not go back, inshallah. Now, molecules can move through the plasma membrane with the aid of transport membrane. This is called, transport protein. This is called facilitated diffusion. Do you remember my example? I could not walk properly, so I took the golf cart at the airport, which took me to the passport counter. Okay. So here, what is facilitated diffusion? Does it need ATP? Does facilitated diffusion need ATP?
No.
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 Because it is a type of diffusion. It does not need ATP. It does not need ATP. All right. So what does it need? It needs a carrier protein. It needs a golf cart. So facilitated diffusion is again the net movement from high concentration to low concentration with the help of a channel or a carrier protein. With the help of a channel or a carrier protein. Can you give some examples of the molecules which pass by facilitated diffusion? Surprisingly, they are our commonest: sodium, potassium, chloride, glucose, and amino acids. They need help of some other thing to pass into the cell because they pass so much that we do not want them to use energy. Otherwise, our energy or ATP, they will finish on this. Now we are done with two. Simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. We come to the third one, which you know from your physics and biology, osmosis. Osmosis is like simple diffusion, but the thing is now changed, that it is from the higher concentration of water to the lower concentration of water. Or if we consider the solute, then from the lower concentration of solute to the higher concentration of solute. So water molecules can move directly through the phospholipids of the plasma membrane. This is called osmosis. It is not using energy. It is diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane. Water molecules bound to solutes cannot pass due to size. Only unbound molecules. Free water molecules collide, bump into the membrane, and simply pass through the membrane from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. It does not need ATP. We come to the second class. What are the types of active transport? Yes. What is the basic rule for active transport? Tell me 3 rules for active transport. Yes. One is bonus, A plus, and the rest, they are known to everyone. Yes, rule number 1, Yusuf.
They need ATP.
They need ATP. Rule number 2, Layal. Sorry. Yes, please. Layal, continue. Or Saleh. Yes. I'm saying, what are the 3 requirements for active transport?
It should be unlike the passive transport.
But what is the
from
rule?
high to low, so it's against the movement.
Yes, it is against the concentration gradient. Rule number 2, against the concentration gradient. Who will tell rule number 3? Again, you have not written your name. 1922. Yes, 224001922.
Use energy.
That is ATP. Very good. Thank you. Can you see what I typed?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the 3 rules.
It
We need-
needs carrier protein.
Yes, like it needed in facilitated diffusion. What is the difference? There it was from the higher concentration to low concentration. Here, rule number 1, it needs energy because it is against the concentration gradient and it needs carrier protein. Please write these 3 points on your notes. Please write these 3 points on your slides because maybe they are not written like this on your slides. Okay. So these are the rules for the active transport. Now I go to the slide. Now active transport, it uses ATP directly. But there are 2 types of active transport. One is called primary active transport and the other is called secondary active transport. I start once again. What is primary active transport? It uses ATP directly. What is secondary active transport? It uses ATP which was broken by the primary active transport. So we say without direct ATP consumption, but it is dependent on the primary active transport. So my dears, repeating with you guys, Saleh, how many types of active transport are there?
2. One
2.
uses the main
No,
ATP,
just
the
enough.
other.
Now the next
Okay.
point. Okay, thank you. 2 types. Okay. Who will tell now what is primary active transport? Yes, please, Ali.
Use ATP directly.
Wonderful. Primary active transport uses ATP directly. Listen, it uses ATP directly. It is against concentration gradient. It needs carrier protein. Okay. Who will tell me what is secondary active transport? Someone else. Some new boy like Ali. Yes. Someone else. No, Leal. I want someone new. Salwa.
Can I answer?
Salwa.
Secondary without ITP directly.
Okay. So without ATP directly. Okay. Fatima, you tell me where does the energy come for the secondary active transport?
Energy from the primary.
Yes, wonderful. It is coming from the primary active transport. Somewhere else primary active transport is going on. It broke the ATP molecule. For example, it produced 2 molecules of energy. One is used by primary active transport. One is available for secondary active transport. Kauthar, can you tell me is the secondary active transport from high concentration to low concentration or from low concentration to high concentration?
Low
Kauthar.
concentration to high.
Wonderful. See, because it is active transport, whether it is primary or secondary, it is from the low concentration to the higher concentration. So we have now made, alhamdulillah, the concept of primary active transport and secondary active transport with your help. Remember the 3 points which I wrote. ATP against concentration gradient, it needs carrier protein. This is common, but this is the definition for primary active transport. If it does not directly use ATP, it becomes the secondary active transport. All right. I will now. All right. So molecules move from areas of low concentration to areas of high concentration with the aid of ATP energy, and it requires protein carriers called pumps. So this is what I wrote there. ATP against concentration gradient, and it required the carrier protein. Fatma Al-Alawi, you want to say something or?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, yes, please.
Secondary active transports, it use ATP.
Secondary active transport, it does not use ATP directly. Primary active transport, it uses ATP directly. Secondary active transport uses the energy produced by primary active transport. Is it clear?
No, the primary use ATP, but the secondary uses ATP.
No. Again, I'll repeat. Secondary uses the energy which is left from primary active transport. Not directly, it does not directly break ATP. Okay? And in the end of the lecture, you can clarify it from me because I will stay till I clarify this point for you. Don't worry. Saleh, I am laughing at your comment in the chat. So he wrote, Doctor, are you Hafiz? I wish I was. Okay. Right. So my dears, last revision. If the movement is from high concentration to the low concentration, we call it diffusion. This is seen in oxygen, carbon dioxide. This is seen in many lipid-soluble substances. The best example is alcohol. That is why it makes us, dizzy. And the other example is takhdir or the anesthesia. Facilitated diffusion is like diffusion in this, that it is from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, but it needs a carrier protein, but no ATP. These two, they make the passive transport. The third one is osmosis. Active transport is from the low concentration to the high concentration. It needs a carrier protein and it needs a breakdown of ATP. This is typical primary active transport. If it is not directly breaking the ATP, but it is from the low concentration to the high concentration, and it is using the energy broken by the primary active transport, then we call it secondary active transport. Yes, the slides are actually the same which are on the female side, but inshallah, I will share the male side slides also. The only difference is I have just used the designer in the PowerPoint to make my slides a little good looking, okay? The material is same. Mariam Al-Zayer, please write your ID number, not in chat, but with your name there in the names. See how your friends have done. All right. My dears, we have an example of the primary active transport. This is called sodium-potassium pump. Here, 3 sodiums, they move out of the cell and 2 potassium ion move into the cell. Sodium is more outside, less inside. Potassium is more inside, less outside. Therefore, this is the first point. That is because we want to push 3 sodium out against the concentration gradient, and 2 potassium we want to bring into the cell where already potassium is more. So it satisfies our point number 1. That is, it is against the concentration gradient. Number 2, it is driven by splitting of ATP, which provides energy. So it provides us our point number 2. And it provides for our point number 3 that there is a carrier protein. Now I start again. My dear, this is extracellular fluid. The yellow one is sodium. The green one is potassium. Where yellow ones are more, inside or outside?
Outside.
Outside. So outside sodium is more. And where are the green ones more? Inside. So potassium is more inside, Sodium is more outside. Now, what is our target? Our target is to throw out extra sodium from the cell. Can we push it out of the cell by diffusion? No, because concentration is more outside. Our target is to bring 2 potassium back into the cell because potassium should be inside the cell. Can we bring it by simple diffusion? No, because potassium is more inside. So because it is going to be against the concentration gradient for sodium to move out and against the concentration gradient of potassium for the potassium to move into the cell, therefore it will use a carrier protein and it will use ATP and break it to ADP plus phosphate to release energy. So this is called sodium potassium pump, which is an example of the primary active transport. Please write here for your notes. Sodium potassium pump is an example of primary active transport. It is an example of primary active transport. And we come to the secondary active transport, which is like, it can be counter transport. Yani one ion goes in, the other goes out. Or it can be in the same direction, which is called co-transport. That is, 2 substances, they go in the same direction, same time, without breaking ATP, but against concentration gradient, using the energy produced by the primary active transport. So I will write the missing words here and you write it in your notes. These are the 2 types of, yes, Saleh, 2 types of
active transport.
But which type of active transport?
For the sodium pump is the primary.
That is primary, but here I am telling something else. Counter transport and co-transport are 2 types of secondary active transport.
Secondary, yes.
Okay, so please note it in your slides. Please
Inshallah.
note it in your slides. There are 2 types of secondary active transport. One is called counter transport. Yes, Layal, what is counter transport?
Counter transport. You want me to read the slides?
No,
Huh?
give your concept. Or tell me that I did not make concept so that I teach again.
Honestly,
Yes. Honestly.
I'm lost.
Okay, that is what,
Yes,
I am like
lost.
your father. In fact, grandfather, because I'm very old. Listen, counter means against. I punch you. This is not counter. But when I punch you and you punch me, this is counter. Yani your reaction is counter. So counter transport means one substance is going in one direction and the other substance is going in
The opposite
the
direction?
opposite direction.
Okay.
Now please explain it to your friends in Arabic.
الكونتر ترانسبورت هو عبارة عن اتجاه واحد من التفاعلات والتفاعل الآخر يكون عبر التفاعل الآخر يكون بالاتجاه المعاكس. Please tell me I got it right.
Okay, perfect. I listen. Now add to it in Arabic. The condition number 1 is this, that both of them, for example, I wrote that number 1 is sodium and the other one is glucose. Both of them should go against the concentration gradient of their respective. Yani sodium should go against its concentration gradient and glucose should go against its concentration gradient, because this is when they will follow the first rule, that is active transport is against the concentration gradient. Do you understand? That is, 2 substances move in opposite direction against their concentration gradient, but again, they do not use ATP directly. This ATP is coming again from some other primary active transport. So that is why they are called a type of secondary active transport, my dears. This is counter transport. Now, Saleh, you will explain to your friends in Arabic. If 2 substances together, they hold their hands like 2 friends, and they go in the same direction, but against the concentration gradient, and do not use ATP directly, they are called co-transport. Saleh, explain this in Arabic, if you understood it. Two substances together go against their concentration gradient, but do not directly use ATP. Yes.
هو كان النقل العكسي، ينقل الجزيئات عبر الغشاء في اتجاهين متعاكسين، بس ببروتينات النقل في اتجاهات متضادة.
All right. And do not directly use ATP, right? Yusuf.
Yes.
Yes, Yusuf.
Sorry, it's by accident.
No. If you press it by accident, I'll ask the question. All right. Are you clear? Or tell me like Layal. She said, we are lost. Is it clear or not? We have got two types of secondary active transport. Both of them, they are against the concentration gradient. Both of them do not directly use ATP. They are dependent on the ATP used by the primary active transport. We have got example of counter transport through special protein carriers, which are called antiports. Yani, they take the substance to opposite direction. We have got example of co-transport through the symports. Yani, they take symports take in the same direction. Antiports take in the opposite direction. Do not worry. Everything is on the slides. Nothing is from outside the slides.
Sorry,
Do not worry.
I-
I'll give you the slides. Yes. Yes,
can you
please.
repeat? I didn't get it.
Okay, no problem at all. So what I am telling you is this, that we have got two types of active transport. One is primary active transport, and the other is secondary active transport. All right. So we discussed the primary active transport and one example, that is sodium potassium pump. Then we discussed the two types of secondary active transport, which are both taking the substances in a direction opposite the concentration gradient. One of them, both substances, they are going in opposite directions. This is called counter transport. It uses antiport, which is a special protein. The other, both substances, they are going in the same direction. They use a special protein, which is called symport. All right. So my dears, finally, we have got the thing which you learned in biology many times, and I'm quickly passing through the slide in just 1 minute. We have got bulk transport. One is called exocytosis, where the big substances, they simply move out of the cell membrane. See this. So a big substance, vesicle, joins with the cell membrane, poured out. A big substance, vesicle, joins with the cell membrane, poured out. A big substance, vesicle, joins with the cell membrane, poured out. What is the name? Exocytosis. What is it called? Exocytosis. The description is written over here. Yes, my dears, without seeing the slide, what is opposite of exocytosis?
Can I answer?
Yes, Yusuf. Yes, wonderful.
Phagocytosis.
Wonderful, Fatima and everyone. The broad name is endocytosis, but phagocytosis is one type of endocytosis. Okay, so the broad name, bulk transport, exocytosis and endocytosis. Endocytosis has two types, phagocytosis and penocytosis. So you are all practically right. We go to endocytosis. What is endocytosis? Now the cell wants to eat something. I go back. Here the cell wants to throw out something. The cell has produced a hormone. It wants to give it out. This is called exocytosis. But here the cell wants to eat something. This is a bacteria. This is a neutrophil. Neutrophil wants to eat the bacteria. All right. So it will use ATP. It will eat. This is called engulfing. Cellular eating. phagocytosis. Big molecules like bacteria. Macrophages or neutrophils, they eat the bacteria. They eat the broken red blood cells. Simply, they take it in. Simply, they take it in. You know, it is exactly opposite to this process. It is exactly opposite to this process. Yani substance from outside, it will come in. This is called endocytosis. My dear, this uses ATP, but it is not active transport because it is not using carrier protein. It is not against the concentration gradient. Are you listening? It uses ATP, but it is not active transport because it does not go against the concentration gradient and it does not use a carrier protein. Phagocytosis is cellular eating and pinocytosis is cellular drinking. Small amounts of liquids and small molecules dissolved in the liquids. So they are picked up. This is typical for endocytosis, whether it is phagocytosis or it is pinocytosis. The process is the same. The cell or the molecule, it binds with the membrane breaks into a vesicle and takes it into the, like we eat. All right. So this is pinocytosis, which is cellular drinking. Thank you very much. The time is finished, but I am sitting here. If anyone wants to ask any question, I will sit here as long as you want. I don't have any other class after this, but you may be having classes. So I stop here. Ali, Bismillah. Yes, please.
Don't forget, doctor, send the slides.
Yes, yes. Don't worry. Catch your leaders, okay? I will send,
Okay.
inshallah, slides for the first 4 lectures, and you can share it with the female side as well. The material is same which Dr. Siham is giving, but I just have modified it using the designer according to my needs. Yes, material is same, so don't worry about that. Just don't worry. 3797 design. This means you are a girl because the girls, they like design more. Inshallah, I will send it on the female side as well. But material is same, 100% same. Okay. Okay. Layal, you said hand raise is a trap. Yes. By chance, you raised the hand and I asked the question.
Yes, once we raise our hand, there's no going back. You kept calling my name even though like I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Yani, this is a trap. I picked up few students who raised hand
Yeah.
few times.
I feel like a mouse.
Yes, yes, please don't mind. This is when you will become a teacher like me. This, you know, for online teaching, this is one of our best tools because we know that, you know, out
One
of
of the
106,
top
many are.
students.
Leal, what do you say?
I said this is one of the techniques to trap students.
Yes, so I am sorry for that. All right.
No, it's fine. I like that. I like standing out.
Okay,
Yeah.
may Allah bless you. May Allah give you more barakah. 3797, I trust you. Saleh wa naam. May Allah bless you. Any questions? I am here. I will not leave till you all leave. Still 96 are here. Either leave. If you don't leave, I don't leave. Leaders, please take the recording when it is available after maybe 1 hour. So someone remind me. I think Saleh will remind me, and then he will send the record to all. So I stop the recording now. All right.